Okay, I'm at the boot shop today and we have guests, our friends Richard and Peter, and I'm going to demonstrate one of the skills of which I'm most proud, which is helping someone skive just by touching the knife. So Peter has already tried skiving and chunked out some pieces of leather, and now I'm going to show how I can help Peter skive perfectly just by touching the knife. Let me get him started. All right, now hold the knife just like that. Don't put your thumb in front.
I'm not ready.
Get your move.
Now all I'm going to do is touch the back of this knife. And look what a good skiver Peter is. It's magic, folks.
What you're actually, it's interesting, you've got to think about it in terms of wherever your backlight is going to be, is round about there. Actually, you have got, if you actually feel that, you have got a slight balance.
We started out with a big, ugly blank like this that looks like a potato. And after 2 days of work, I have one almost finished last. Look how pretty that is. And this is how it started. All of the work on the last was done with hand tools. This is called a surform. Just scrapes off little shavings, little curls of wood. And this is a really big file. So once you get it rough shaped, then you can begin filing it smooth. It starts out being really fun, and then after a couple of days, your shoulders and back get very sore. And in case you're wondering why I'm wearing a coat, it's because it's England, and they don't have central heat and air, and they don't care because they're tough, and so I'm trying to be tough too. But I do have to wear a coat. I'm in Oregon with Bill Shanor, and I have just learned a new method for attaching needles to the inseaming cord, and Bill's going to demonstrate for us.
I'm going to wax the end. And I put wax on there, and I also put some on my legs. And then I roll it and pull it at the same time. I use my tummy to hold on to the threads. It's much easier to work with it that way. I'm going to take the very, very fine feather tip off the end. And then I'm going to come back what most people think is just not very far. It looks pretty narrow. It's pretty scary for some people, but the fact is if you're using these correctly, you're not pulling on this. You want something that will come through the holdfast real easily. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to split it, and I push down on it.
And you're using a hook doll?
Just using a hook doll. I go through the hole, okay? And I take the real fine little threaded guy and I come up here through the eye. Okay, so that's hook number one. That's knot number one, okay? I grab it between my fingers and I put my tummy up against there, and now I'm going to spin it a couple times. It's just wrapping it, just an easy way of getting there. Now I'm going to pierce the main thread. I'm going to lay the thread right in the hook, and I'm going to come right back through that hole, but it involves turning the needle just a little bit. So now I've got a nice little loop, and I'm going to go through that loop and pull the thread through again. So what have I done? It's sort of like done a chain stitch. Okay, so here's our first knot, here's our second knot. I'm going to spin it in my hand, fingers, and I'm going to do a second version of what we just did. I'm going to pierce it. Pull back through the hole. Do a chain stitch, come back, grab the thread again, go right back through the hole, and it involves just slightly turning it when you get there. Okay. I'm going to pull that, and then I'm going to wax it. I do it this way so I don't have to pull real hard on it. And the thread is actually narrower than the needle.
I'm in Ashland, Oregon, taking a shoemaking class with Bill Shanor, and yesterday I hand stitched my first pair of soles. I've been wanting to learn hand stitching soles for a very long time, so I was super excited to get to try it. And yesterday it actually went pretty well. Today, not so much. So the difference between yesterday and today was that yesterday I was sewing soles on this complicated contraption that is made by Dick Anderson with Thornapple River boots, and it's a device to hold the shoe in position so that you can hand sew the soles. And I used this yesterday, and it does hold everything just right to where I can sew. But today I decided to do it the traditional way and try hand sewing a sole on my lap with a strap, because I had these lovely visions of going to a bluegrass festival, just me and my shoe and my string and my strap, and sitting there and listening to music and hand sewing soles. But I am terrible at doing it on my lap with the strap. The part that I've done so far on this shoe looks awful, and then I wasn't sure how to hold it when I got to the toe. So at this point I'm kind of really in love with this contraption here. I'll show you. And also, I think it would work great for cowboy boots. If you're going to stitch soles on cowboy boots, then I do think this might be the better option, because I'm not sure what happens to the boot top on a cowboy boot if you're trying to stitch in your lap. Obviously, I'm not sure what happens to the shoe when you're trying to stitch in your lap. I'm going to zoom up and show you how I'm stitching. Please ignore the previous stitching because it looks terrible. And you'll notice like the last 3 stitches look great, and that's the moment that I switched and put it back on this sole stitching thing. This is the awl that's used for outseaming. An inseaming awl is shaped sort of like a spoon. It goes this way. Whereas an outseaming awl, while it still has the same curve, it's flat, like this. So it curves this way. I've made little marks where each stitch goes. I'm going to take the tip of the awl and put it right on the mark, and then slide it through the sole. You don't want to wiggle around with this awl. And sometimes you have to pull it out and go back in, but that's better than wiggling it. Now I'm going to tighten down the stitch, and there we go. I made a stitch, and I only have like 4,000 to go. That's the thing about outseaming. The stitch itself is exactly like inseaming. It's just there are a whole lot more of them. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like from the other side. Okay, I've turned it around so that now instead of seeing the top of the shoe, you're seeing the channel underneath. So what we've done is we've cut a slit into the sole so that we can peel back the sole edge. And then we grooved a channel around here for the stitches to fall into. So the secret is getting your awl to actually come out in that groove. And now that the camera is actually focusing, I'm showing you how that awl is shaped. So I'm going to position the tip of the awl right where the stitch should be, and then push it through. And again, if you don't make it all the way through, it needs to just be a slow, steady push. And if you don't make it all the way through, that's okay. Pull it out and try again. But don't wiggle. This is not an awl that you want to wiggle like this. You want to just push it through, following the curve. Always work with the curve of your awl, never against it, because that's when it breaks. So there we go. Came out right in that channel. Sometimes it takes a little while to get the feel of your awl and to get it to come out where you want it to. But you will get it.